and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick, with the City of Hampton's Communications and Marketing Department. And today we're going to talk a little bit about downtown Hampton. My guest is the new director of the Downtown Hampton Development Partnership, Jimmy Serraccio. Welcome, Jimmy.
Hi, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing good.
I was just talking about having a great time in downtown Hampton last night at one of the History Museum concerts.
Yeah. The Front Porch Music Series, it's a great event, yeah.
It is, and it's, you know, from 6 to 8 p.m., which is good for old people who can't stay out late on a school night. So, but it's a lot of fun. But I do see some more things going on in downtown. Yeah. What are some of your goals?
Some of my goals, it's basically the top goal is just to create more pedestrian activity in downtown, encourage people to come down there and do stuff, and to kind of draw new businesses, activity like that to it. We're on track to do that now. We have a lot of stuff in the pipeline that's starting to take fruition. And the other big piece is just telling people what's already happening down there. There's all types of music and everything going on down there already, and people just need to be aware of that. So,
I think, you know, one of the almost challenges with downtown is that there's a whole lot of people involved in downtown. There's, you know, master plan efforts, there's the partnership, there's Hampton First. I mean, kind of everybody has their fingers in downtown. Tell us what the DHDP, and I hate to use acronyms, but it's too long a word, what the Downtown Business Group, which is essentially what you head up.
Yeah, you're right. Downtown it's a community is what it is. And it's everybody's downtown. It belongs to the people who live down there, the people who visit, who work. It belongs to everyone. The Downtown Hampton Development Partnership, our focus is we represent the property owners of downtown and by extension the merchants of downtown. And our goal is to basically, you know, drive traffic and drive investment in downtown. That's our goal. So.
And some of those then overlap with economic development, which is trying to attract businesses all throughout the city, but there's certainly a focus on downtown. How do you and your board work with all these other organizations and groups?
We all share information. I mean, that's key. Share information of what's happening, what's available space-wise, what the businesses, the retail mix and the businesses we need. How do we attract better jobs to downtown? How do we attract people to live downtown? So we all work together and share the information and like partner up to make things happen, whether it's something from helping to plan a grand opening celebration from a business to talking to developers or bigger businesses that are interested in coming down. It's our job to tell that story for downtown and give them that info.
So, Jimmy, where are you from? What's your background?
Truthfully, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, born and raised.
Yeah, last time I saw you, I think you were in cowboy boots. So.
Yeah, a cowboy hat, yeah, which was at the History Museum.
It was, it was.
But yeah, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. My background's in arts management from a school standpoint. My education from U of A came from music and arts management. I was a music major. And after working at the Phoenix Symphony for a few years, I fell into the downtown world, and I've been doing that for ever now, it seems like. So I was in downtown Phoenix for a long time, heavily involved in their art scene, but also in the redevelopment of downtown Phoenix. And after that, in downtown Tempe, Arizona, which is a part of the metro area of Phoenix. And we saw tremendous success there. And since then, have come to Hampton.
Now, see, in some ways, I would stop and think, music, that's a different sort of background, but it isn't. I mean, in a lot of downtown efforts, the arts plays a huge role.
It does. Well, and I mean, there's key connections there as well. I mean, Downtown Hampton Development Partnership is a nonprofit. We're not a city agency. We're actually separate, and that's why we represent the property owners. So there's that connection between the nonprofit side of it. But yeah, I mean, arts are key to redevelopment in cities all across the world. Cultural amenities and having creative people are what drives the discussions on downtowns and cities and what goes into building them, and they bring the vibrancy to it. And I think we saw that in Phoenix especially. The art scene is really what drove our redevelopment in downtown Phoenix, and it still is. I mean, it's tremendous, and I do feel that can play a key role in Hampton, which is why we're working on things like an arts walk that starts in May and things like that. So.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what an arts walk is and what it would look like in Hampton.
Arts walk, it's actually kind of a broad term, and what we're doing is it's a second, the events are second Saturdays, so it'll be the second Saturday of every month starting May 10th. And when we say Arts Walk, some people think it's just, look at sculptures on the street. It's not that. It's encouraging creative activity in downtown, getting creative people to do creative things in our city. We're encouraging artists to show in the businesses that are down there, seeing how we could utilize vacant spaces, whether it's doing installations in the windows and things like that to help brighten up the storefronts that are vacant, seeing if we can get street performers and things like that. How do we use our parks better and get performances in those? And it's open from everything from visual artists to dancers to fashion designers, anyone who can think of something creative to do. We want to get them involved. And I mean, it'll range from being in the History Museum to the retail merchants to the restaurants and everything. And it'll be all ages event, access to everybody, open to the public. And don't think like event like street closures, just think vibrancy in the area. People walk around a self-guided tour and see what people are doing. Like
kind of a sidewalk sale sort of day, but it's all focused on arts and entertainment.
Yeah, and it's not even a sidewalk sale. I mean, it gets people into the businesses and gets community people talking. It gives an artist a venue to show stuff that they might not normally have. A visual artist can have an opening reception inside a shop. Musicians could find an acoustic musician could find a street corner to play on, something we see all around the world. And I have yet to really see it in Hampton, but it's something I think musicians would want to do and we should encourage. So
I think it could happen. I noticed, actually, I ate at Conch and Bucket last night and noticed that they had an art exhibit on the walls by Mark Hopkins, who's also quite a good blues guitar player. So there's a lot of overlap there in terms of the establishments and the creative culture downtown.
It was funny because when I first came here, both for my interview and when I finally moved here, I was talking to people, and people didn't seem to know that there was a lot of arts activity going on in downtown already. The Blue Skies Gallery, Charles Taylor Art Center, those are two things people knew about. But we have multiple photographers working down there. We have all types of businesses already showing art. There are some public sculptures already out in the public right away. There's music all over the place that people can dig up and find. So those activities are already happening, and we're really just trying to build on that and enhance it. Mark Hopkins and Conch and Bucket's one example, but at Tap House they had the Dwelf Collective there last weekend doing paintings.
Oh, cool.
The History Museum always has stuff going on like that. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff going on. So.
I know one of the big trends nationwide that I think is a good fit for Hampton is that as boomers retire, they want to slow down their life pace a little. They want to be greener. A story in the Washington Post was about how many of them are shedding the big house, shedding the second car, living where they can walk to restaurants and stores and cultural activities and be a little bit more a part of the community. These people who all moved out to the suburbs, 30 years ago are ready to change their lifestyle.
Yeah.
You think Hampton is going to attract some of those folks?
It's funny because it's not just baby boomers. I mean, it's actually millennials.
Millennials don't ever want the suburbs to begin
at all.
with. Yeah. They want to
be
be very green and very connected.
I even feel with my generation, there was like a big portion, especially now, that have shifted to that level of thinking. Even back home in Phoenix, a lot of my friends who had bought houses in the suburbs were jealous that I was like right in downtown Phoenix, and they wanted to be there for everything. And I think we could see that here. I mean, I go out. You said you want to be home early enough, but I'm a late night person. I'm out late a lot, way too much. But there's all types of late night activity in downtown, and it's young people, it's older people, it's middle-aged people. It's a mix, and that's what a downtown is. Like I said, it's a community. It's all ages, and it is a certain mindset of a person who kind of wants to have more of a kind of on-the-go life where they can just lock up their condo or apartment and not have to worry about yard work or stuff, and be able to do what they want, whether it's travel or go out for drinks and have fun with their friends or go check out a concert. I mean, speaking as someone who owned a house, I mean, it's a lot of work, And
That's true.
There's a totally different vibe to it. And I mean, we do have, single-family housing in downtown as well.
Right.
So you can get the best of both worlds that way too. But yeah, I think you're seeing it across all generations, but especially with younger people. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to gain on that. And I think once people really start understanding what's happening in downtown, that they'll want to be part of that. So.
What are some of the key things coming up that are going to affect downtown, or that changes you'd like to see, or that you're working toward? I mean, I think once Old Point, then once that 4 or 5 story buildings opens, you're going to see this influx of people that are there from at least 8 to 5.
Yeah. Building on that daytime economy is essential. I think everybody wants to see more people down there for lunches, shopping during the day, and bringing in workers, and especially high-paying jobs, good jobs is the way to do it. Old Point will drastically change what's happening down there, and we intend to build on that and keep trying to attract more businesses to be there. I think the living situation will continue to grow. There's already apartments, condos, houses down there, and I have a feeling that's just going to keep happening, especially since people do want to live where they work these days,
right.
or technically work where they live, however you want to look at it. I think building on cultural amenities and tourism, especially with the waterfront and the marinas that we have in downtown, whether it's Blue Water all the way to the public piers, Joy's Marina. I mean, there's all types of, and then the culinary scene. To me, I came from a good foodie culture.
Yeah,
and,
you did.
And coming here so far, Hampton actually has impressed me probably more than anywhere else I've been in this whole area. As far as what the restaurants offer, it's pretty impressive, the nice bunch we have, whether it's, Conch and Bucket or Venture all the way to Mary Helen's and Musasi. I mean, this is a pretty good mix of restaurants doing cool, creative stuff, which we have Restaurant Week coming up too. So.
Well, and I think too, you have this mix of population, and sometimes the military, which dominates our population here, comes from a place where they know the chain restaurants and they know that's dependable, and there's sort of and tourists too, and there's kind of a natural gravitation to that. But you have this whole movement in downtown and Phoebus where it isn't chains. It is independent, fun, funky. You don't always know exactly what the offerings are going to be, but you know that you want to try it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we've seen foodie culture grow nationwide. The Food Channel, things like that have exploded, and cooking shows on TV. People want to try inventive food and have something different.
Right.
And I think we've seen a shift in thinking towards supporting those independent businesses. But we've also been seeing a localist movement grow nationwide where people want to support independent businesses. They want more money to stay in their communities. They want to support the people who are reinvesting in their communities. And we should encourage that. And I think, yes, downtown Hampton and Phoebus especially have those places that can be supported that way, and that people should want to support, and we do. The people who are already down there are, and we should encourage more people to do that. The military people that are here, I don't feel like they just want that chain thing. I think it's
they
familiar,
want to go deeper eventually,
but yeah, I
it
think
takes
once
a while sometimes.
Yeah, I think once they get to that community, they want to find out what the nitty-gritty is to it. And that's when they're actually going to start seeing what the real offerings are, once they start venturing out into that world. And the food's the greatest place to start, really. So
the food is good, and I think the waterfront too. I know that the Hampton First recommendation really was to capitalize on the waterfront, maybe even some sort of what they called an urban beach, a little more being able to view the seafood industry, which is still down there, and capitalizing on that. What do you see happening at the waterfront?
I think we need to just encourage more activity from our public along it, no matter what. Really make it a clear walking path and what's available to people, biking path. There needs to be a clear route along that because it's beautiful. And
that was certainly in their recommendation, sort of mapping it out from Virginia Tech or the back of the Air and Space Center all the way around to Mill Point Park.
And having our neighborhoods connect to that waterfront. People should be enjoying it. If they could take their bike from Wythe or Old England or Pasture Point and ride through downtown along that waterfront, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Walk along it with their partner, whatever they want to do. It's an amazing view to have. So, and I think it can be built on with keeping an operational waterfront with Amory Seafood and stuff like that, but building on that, whether it's from a culinary perspective to education with Virginia Tech, and maybe trying to lure a culinary school. There's all types of that could be played into that. And then you have the tourism component too with Air and Space Center and the docks. It can be a mix of things, and I think that's really what that waterfront can be, easily.
What about more boats or different type of boats? And I'll just throw in that I'm a kayaker, which I think people out there have heard, but can we open up that waterfront so that there are a lot of people who grow up here that don't ever get to be on the water.
Yeah.
And we have so much waterfront.
I think we can. There's I know there's a kayak dock just past Mill Point Park under the bridge, but I feel like we could grow on that.
Yeah, I like that one. But I think so too.
Yeah, I feel like even from the parks we could have boat rentals, and we could have all types of stuff like that, or other places dock there for people to launch from, and we should encourage that. I think going forward, I think now we do have facilities for whether it's sailboats to large motorboats in downtown. But yeah, we should be doing more to encourage all types of boating and activity. And that's the important thing, that activity, especially for our population here, not just for tourism, but how do we get those people down there doing stuff and engaging in downtown that way? So, yeah.
That sounds great. Well, Jimmy, let me ask you personally, things were good in Arizona, you're from there, you enjoyed Phoenix and Tempe. Why did you choose to come to Hampton?
I wanted a new experience. Like I said, I fell into the downtown world and loved it, and wanted to see, I've been to other cities, but I wanted to really try to work in another city. My partner and I were discussing, what do we look at when we travel, when we move to a new place? Do we stay on the West Coast? We said, let's go to the Southeast. We've never spent that much time down there other than a couple trips, so let's see what we can find in that area. Hampton came up, came here for my interview, and kind of fell in love with downtown Hampton. It's pretty beautiful, and I had one night out before my interview, and I walked all around downtown. I went to the Tap House and Venture and all those places, and just thought, okay, this is a cool place. I want to be part of this. And so when the opportunity came, I jumped at it.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you, and hope to see more from you and downtown.
Definitely.
And we'll be talking more.
Thanks.
Thank you, and good luck in your new job.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Round Robin. I think it's important, when he says that he saw what was already here, you can do a lot with what we already have. Downtown can continue to grow, and I hope to see you out and about in downtown. Thanks for watching.